Hey there, Naku here. Welcome to OB Studios. All right, so at the moment, I am really digging quickly Gutenberg Builder, or probably right word Gutenberg Tool Kit. I'm really digging it. I'm loving the experience that I'm having, and since I am a generous person, I want to share that experience with you too. Whether you're gonna fall in love with that experience is for you to decide. But in today's video, we are going to build a landing page using Cwicly, and Gutenberg. So I'm going to show you what I have designed, and I want you to see it. And then from there, we're going to start building it out. So in this video, you will learn how to do layouts in Cwicly and also how to make it responsive with Cwicly. All right, so let's look at our design. So this is what we have. I'm going to refresh it. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go back again. All right, so what went into building this? So the tools that I used is Cwicly and Motion Page. The entire animation is built out using Motion Page. I'm going to leave links to both Cwicly and Motion Page in the description section. So if you want to go and check out any of those, you can use the link down below. Yeah, so since I have gotten that out of the way, let's get into WordPress and see how we can start building this out. So I'm going to close the page, and then over here, I am going to call this. So I'm going to click on Add New. If you have already installed Cwicly, as soon as you click Add New and you have your things already set up, you're going to see something like this. If you have never used Cwicly and this is your first time using it, you might want to watch some of my other previous videos on Cwicly to see how to set up some things. But let's get into this. All right, so after doing that, I'm going to give the page a name by clicking on Add Title and give this one Cwicly London page. All right, I think this is good for the name. So after that, you don't have to do anything. You can click on Publish if you want. You can click on Save as draft. If you're not ready to publish it, just save it as draft. Right, so after that is done, the first thing that I will want to do is to go into my design. I have my design in Figma. So here in Figma, this is the design that we are going to do. So with this, we can see that we have a total black. Let me click on this. All right, so we have this, which is the background color. It's a linear background color that we have over here. So from this color to that color. So let's see how we're going to do that. All right, so for me, one thing that I do for myself is I put everything in one big section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button here and then add a section. So within that section, I'm going to give it a good name and make it main section. I'm going to copy that and paste it as a class name too. So this is our main section. After doing that, the tag, I'm going to change the tag and make it main. So that is more like what is going to hold everything together. All right, so after doing that, I can go back and click over here and I call it main. Just copy that. Okay, main, copy and then call that main section. All right, so when that is done, we are on our way to start building what we want. So make sure that that layer is still selected, and then we're going to come to design. In design, we have background. In this background, I'm going to click on this. Over here, you can do either solid background or a gradient background. What we want now is a gradient background. So click on gradient. Inside the gradient, we have a lot of options from linear to radial to comic. We are using linear today. So linear is selected. We need 3 colors. So for 3 colors, this is color number 1. This is color number 2. What we want is color number 3. So I'm going to click the middle. Consider now we have color number 3. So the first color, I'm going to go into my design. make sure that this first color is selected, copy that, and then over here, paste this over here and just click on enter. Go to the next color, which is it. Copy that too, and then make sure that I paste it there. Click on enter. Last color, copy that and paste that in here, and then just click on enter. All right, so we have this at 90 degrees. The degrees over here is pretty tricky, but let's say that this degree is like 45, around 45. That is okay. All right, so we have it at 45 degrees. Right now you can't see anything because we do not have anything in our main section. So the next things we have done, the entire locked in that we need for the background, we're going to start placing in our layers. So the first thing that we need is our text. Right, our text is 151. Font is 40 cents, and we have option. So I'm going to come in, click on that, and then click on heading. So with the heading, I'm going to push it to the right so that it goes into our very main container, which is called section container. Over here, I'm going to paste in what we copy. Right now, I don't see it because the color is not right. So I'm going to make sure that that one is still selected, and then I'll click on primary. Primary and design are the same. Primary is just a calm down version of the design. So when you go to design, you have like more options. Primary is just little action, like options have shrink down to things that you might use when it comes to text. But if you want more options, you can just click on design, and then you're going to see more options. But we're just going to use primary. Then the text color, you can go back and find it, copy that, right? And then come over here and then paste it, and then click on enter. Okay, so that is done. After that, I want to change the typography to what we want, which is Polysan. So I'm going to click on typography. In typography, I have uploaded my font through the back end. To do that, I might show you probably at the end. But since I've uploaded my own font, I'm going to click on this G to disable Google Fonts. When you disable Google Font and you click back over here, you're going to see the fonts that you have uploaded. If I click on G, the font that I have uploaded wouldn't show. So disable that, click over here, put the font that you want, and then the font size is 151. All right, so to do that, I can just put in 151. But at the end, I'm going to have trouble when it comes to making it responsive. So to make sure that this is responsive from the onset, what I am going to do is to click on the unit and change this one to fluid. So with fluid, I want to make sure that the maximum font size is 151. The minimum font size, I'm going to give it 36 pixels. For the viewport width, the minimum, I want to make this let's say 270. I'm going to change this to I'm going to leave 36 like that, but 270. The maximum one, make it 11440. All right, so that is good for what we want to do. I'm not going to change anything anymore over here. I'm just going to close it. And then, as you can see, that the line height is a bit too big. I'm going to make it smaller by clicking on this unit and then changing it to EM. And I'm going to put in 1 EM, which equals to 16 pixels. So 1 EM is good for me. All right. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to click on the main section. And then when I click on that, I can go into layout. And then in layout, I'm going to change this onto flex. And I'm going to make it into a column. And then inside the alignment, I want to bring the alignment centered. So now everything is pushed to center. And justify, I can justify it to be also center if you want. So it doesn't say justify it to the center. In the row gap that I want for what I'm doing is 120 pixels. So you want to see if I put in my next element. So my row gap is 120. I'm going to leave that like that. Let's go back into our design. You can see that the next thing we have is an image. So I'm going to click on this heading, click on the plus sign, and then click on image. So you can see that the image just came right under the heading. All right, so when that is done, I'm going to click on my image, make sure it's selected. I'm going to give it a name called hero image. Make sure right name. I'm going to copy what I have here and paste it on here. And then on hover, I don't want to do nothing. Nah. All right, so over here, I'm going to click on set image. I'm going to look for the image that I'm looking for. I believe this. That's not that. Okay, this one. All right, so select that one so that our image is selected. Our image is filling the full width of what we of our section. So but what I'm going to do is to make sure that even when this becomes even bigger, it still fills it. So I'm going to go image still selected. You go to size in the primary section. In the size on the width, I'm going to change this into percentage and make sure that the width is 100% at all times. So that is good. From now, you can just see the progress. That is good. All right, let's go back into our design. And the next thing that we want to do is to have these, what you call it, is to have it will have this list. So for this list, how I am going to work on that is I'm going to have a div. So let's click images selected, click over here, and then you can type in div and then just click on the div. So for a div, inside the div, so I'm going to make sure that in here I'm going to type in, you can just type in text and then you can use the header. So just so you know, this is Gutenberg, and for Gutenberg there are other let's say elements that are in there. You can see that there's heading over here. Don't use that. If you have purchased Cwicly, do not use the heading element that is given by Gutenberg themselves. You have to use the one by Cwicly. It has more options when it comes to you customizing it. So make sure that you click on the one that has this sign over there. So I'm going to click on this one, and then I'm going to just push it into the div over there because it was below the div, but we want it to be in the div. All right, it's more like in the money and out the money, but this is as soon as you put it inside the div, now it becomes in the money. I was joking. All right, so now we have the heading in the money. And then I am going to change it on the list heading. All right, and then we can change the ID to list div. It's a bad name, but it's okay. All right, so after doing that, make sure that our heading is selected. And then in here, I'm going to go back into our design. I'm going to copy the very first one. So copy that. And then I'm just going to paste it. You can see that the color is not good. Color is still black. I can just go into here, make sure that I change this one to the appropriate color. It is white, so I can just push this one into white. All right, so when that is done for the color, the next thing that I'm going to do is, this is not an H1. So you have to fetch that. So I'm going to change this one from H1 into something like H3, which is good. So change it from to H3, and then we have our color and stuff like that. For typography, to change the format to look like what we have, typography, and here I'm going to disable Google Font. Click on here and choose Polysans. Go back, and then this is 32 pixels for the big. All right, so the size over here is bulk, and bulk is 700. I think we didn't even finish the design over here. So I have to change this one back to 700. And then going back, everything is capitalized and capitalize that. Yep, we are done with that. Sorry for getting to finish that. So that is done. Okay, so over here, I am also going to use the fluid type of typography. So click over here and then choose fluid. You're gonna have this clump generator, and make sure that the smallest, for me, the smallest font, I'm gonna make it 14. The biggest font, I'm gonna make it 32. The viewport, I'm gonna make it 1440 for the biggest, and the smallest, I'm gonna make it 270. All right, so that is really good for now. So I'm just gonna close that. Okay, so we have three we have three texts that are in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go back. You can see that this text is within a frame. So let's see how big is this frame. So this frame, there's a border over here. From here to here is 1440. So I'm gonna go back and then select my div. When I select my div, the primary, there is a place for size. So in the sizing, what I'm going to do is give this 1440 for what we want. And to make sure that it's also responsive when we are going to do with responsiveness, I am going to make sure that the maximum for this percentage is 100%. So is that going to be 1440 or is it going to be 100%? So when it gets above 1440, it's going to lay at 1440. When it gets below 1440, it's going to fill the entire width of the element or the screen that you have. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that the minimum or the width for now is 1440, and that is good. So if we have like a bigger size, if the screen size is more than 1440, the width of the layout is not going to be more than 1440. It's going to be 1440. And if the size of the screen becomes smaller, now the size of the div is also going to be smaller. But now, instead of becoming 1440, it's just going to be 100% of the width of the device that you have. Hope that is clear. All right, so that is done. The next thing that I am going to do is to select this, and there are so many ways to deal with this. We can click back on our div and then go into layout. This will be the primary. So layout, and layout, I'm going to make this on flex. And then in here, I'm going to make sure that direction is a row. And then I'm going to make sure that we have a wrap. I'm going to let you know the reason why we have a wrap. But let's say we don't have a wrap, right? I'm going to take out the wrap. And then I'm going to, let's leave everything like this. And I'm going to show you what happens. So over here, I'm going to click on Control-Shift-D. So when you click on Control-Shift-D, you duplicate an element or a block. So I've duplicated that. I'm going to select what I have duplicated. Or let me just click back on the div and then give the column, let's say 20 pixels for now. I'm going to remove that, but I just want to make sure that I can see a difference. Go back into our design, copy what we have over here. So copied, and then pasted that. And then when you are still here, you can click on Control-Shift-D and then select everything. Copy this, paste it. You can click back, Control-Shift-D, and copy everything here. Paste it, and then you can still click on Control-Shift-D. Now I'm going to copy the last one, and then paste it. All right, so you can see that now everything is on one line. Even though you can see the entire width of the text is not fitting, it has broken it down so that everything will fit on that one line. We do not want that to happen. What we want is for us to have 3 at the top and then 2 at the bottom. There are so many ways to also work on this. You can use grid, or you can just use flex as we are using right now. So to use flex, we're going to click back on the div. We have it flex selected. We have the direction as row. We're just going to change or make this one a wrap. So as soon as we click on the wrap, now you can see that it has wrapped around everything over here. So next one came to the next one. The next thing we can do is make sure it's centered. Make sure also this is centered like that. All right, but now we still have 2. We have 4 at the top and we have 1 at the back. So what I am going to do, what I'm going to do to make sure that we have 3 at the top is to click on the first one, right? And then I am going to click on design. So in design, I am going to look for size. So this is size, right? I'm going to click on size. And then for the width, I'm going to change this one from pixels to percentage. And then I'm going to give this one 33.33%. Copy that. Click on the next one over here. Paste that, change this on to percentage. Click on the next one, change this on to percentage. Percentage, save that, or paste that. Go over here. Make sure that this one is in percentage also. Click back over here and make sure that this is also in percentage. 33. All right, so we can see what we have over here. Going back, font size is 700. Let me go back over here. This is 32 with all key. Jump like that. So maybe what I am going to do is reduce this from 32 to 28, right? 32 to 28. So I'm going to do the same thing for this. Change this one to 28. Close that. Open this. Change this one to 28. Make sure that we have our percentages completed right. So 33. This one is 33. This one is 33. All right. Let me go back over here. Make this one 30. Make this one 30 because it's not 30. Or we can get 33 plus 33 plus 33. It's not. That's incorrect. It's correct. Let's do just 33 and see. I don't know if my math is not working. Because 66. No. Something is not working. I'm going to make this on 32 or 31 like that. It's cool. All right. So the next thing that I want to do is go back into the div. And for the div, I'm going to click on the layout. Instead of making this centered, I'm going to move it to the side. All right. So you can see that here, this is now like I want this one to come to the center. I want this one to go to the far end. So I'm going to click on this, click on that text, and then make sure that you are in the design. You can click on primary, but come to design. In design, you want to go into layout. You want to change this one to flex, and then you want to make it into a row that you want, and then you can make this one centered. And then for adjustment, make it like that. Because now it brings it into the center. I'm going to click on this one too. Here we have to fix that the font size into 28. Also change this one into 28 so that everything is seamless like that. And then click over here. And then we have to go into design, go into layout, flex like that. Like just like how we did for this. And then click over here to go into flex, direction, centered, or one to go all the way to the end. So like that. And this should be good. I want to click back on this and go into size. This is 33. What is the size for this? 33. I'm really baffled with how the 33 is not working for whatever reason. Now, so 33. All right. I'm going to duplicate this, right? That. Put this over here and duplicate it. Change this one size to 30. All right. And then just call that collaboration. Go into layout and make it go to the end. Like that. So that we have a 6. 6 looks better than 5. All right, so that should be that for what we want to do for this. So I'm just gonna make sure I save that. Then let's go into the next thing. Here we do have we have the left and then the right. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to add a new div. So let's go up and then type in a div. So we added a new div, and then we can call that one maybe section 3 or section 4, what name they want to give it. All right, so when that is done, we want to add an image. So let's click on and then look for some image with a Cwicly sign, and then also put this on over here. And then also in here, I want to add another div. So let's add a div. All right, so a div coming to that div. All right, so this div that we have over here is going to hold what we have here for the text, right? And then this image is going to be the image. So I'm going to click on section 4, which is that. Let me give the ID called section 4. Section, so div 4. Let's give it that name, copy that and paste it over here. All right, so in here, what we are going to do is we are on the primary, and then in the layout, I'm going to give it a flex, and then I'm going to make it go to a row. All right, that is good. All right, so after doing that, the image, make sure select image, go into source, and then click on set image, and I need this picture. So I put that picture in here. All right, so that is good. The next thing that we want to do is now we want the text that we are going to put in there. All right, so for this text, we have the first one. We'll copy this. And here we are going to use a paragraph. So let's click on here, and then we can type in text. When I type in text, we're going to look for one called paragraphs. And then I'm going to click here and then paste in what we have. Go to color and change this one to. All right, so after doing that, we are going to formulate the size of it. So let's go to typography. In typography, we are going to disable the G and then use polysans. So for polysans, the size is 40 pixels. So I'm going to click on fluid, change this one to fluid, and then over here, I'm going to get 40 pixels. For this, I want to go all the way down to let's say 26 pixels. Change this one to 40. Change this one to 260. 260 is okay. I'll probably 316. I can use this since we used it the other time. But you can put the size that you want, the minimum size. All right, so after doing 260, what we want is the font weight is neutral. So neutral is around like 400. And then the line height, I'm going to change this on to EM. Then make this one 1 pixel. Sorry, 1 EM. And we can leave spacing like that. What we want to do next is this has a limit width, which is 701. So I'm going to copy this limit. And then I am going to go into, this part? I'm going to go into design. And in design, I'm going to click on sizing. So for sizing, I'm just going to put this. All right, so that is good. But if you ever change the width of an element like that, the best thing to do next is to make sure that you put 100% over here, so that when it comes to responsiveness, you'll be able to do it in more ease than that. So anytime you put a fixed width, make sure that you set a maximum width too, which is really important. So that is done. The next thing that I want to do is I'm going to add another. Let me just change this quadrant. So I'm going to add another div. So click over here to add a div, and then click on the div. So when the div is added, I'm going to make sure, okay, I'm going to take this and put it inside that div. Take this and put it inside this div. So let's call this one. Let's call it right div. So save that. All right. So in this div that we just added, a new div in here, what we want to do is we want this separator. We are using a div to do that. has a different color, so I'm just going to copy the color, and the height is 10 pixels. All right, so we are back in the design field. I'm going to give this one, put a hash and put a color there, so that works nicely. And then in here you can change like sizing if it's an image, but let's go into design and look for size. In this size, the height is 10 pixel, and then the width, you can just change this one to 100%, and that is good. All right, so let's click on right div and then go back into layout, make this into a flex, change this one into a column, make sure that it is on the right hand side. You can justify it to come into the center. And then in here for the row, we are going to make sure that the thing is 20 pixels. It's 50. All right, we'll work on that, but we're going to make this one spaced in between. So that is good. Or let us not do that, so we can finish that before we do it. So I'm going to click back on the paragraph. I am going to duplicate the paragraph. So Ctrl-Shift-D. I am on a Windows machine, so that's why I'm using Ctrl-Shift-D. If you are on a Mac, I think it will be Command-Shift-D. All right. So here is text is selected. Copy that, paste it. Now we're going to click on the div, duplicate that too. Click on this, take it down, and that is good. Let's duplicate this text again and push it down. Copy everything, copy what we have here, and then paste it, just like that. All right, so now we have all the items in that div. What we are going to do is click on right div, and then we are going to say space in between. Everything is spaced nicely like that. All right, let's click back on, see this div that holds all of them. Then you remember that we have to give it a size of 1440, and then make sure that this is totally 100% for the maximum. And inside the maximum, we are going to make sure that we go back into layout, and then this we want to make sure it is spaced in between. So we don't have to give it like a column that send the space in between. And then we'll align it to the center. Oh no, don't have to do alignment, or else it breaks this. But we can just do it like this, no alignment. I think stretch is good. Baseline, nope. Stretch, nope. Just leave it like that. You should be fine. All right, so we are done with what we have over here. The next thing that we are going to do is have these. So this and that. So how I'm going to work on is I'm going to combine these two. So these two things I'm going to combine it. So this and this will be in one big section or a div. So I am going to click on here and then call this one and the section in here. So make sure the section, okay, so the main section, right? That is good. And then call this one, yeah, you can call it section number 5. Right, so when that is done, what we need is, we need a header text. So let's click back on this icon and put in the heading like that. And I have to find, make sure I select on this. This should be in the big one. And then in here, I'm going to place what I have, go into primary, make sure that this is H2, disable that and put this one on polysans. Font size is 96 for max, change this onto fluid, over here to 96. Let's make this one 40, and here I want to do 260. Over here I'm going to make it 36. 36 should be fine. And then let's close that, and then we can go back into colors, text color, make this one white, and we are almost there. I can see everything. Okay, everything is now. Go back to typography, make this capitalize. The line height, change this one to M, and make this one 1 pixel. So I have 1 M, 1 EM, that's the call it, and that is good. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to wrap this section this section over here, I'm going to wrap it in a div, right? Should I wrap it in a div? Well, yeah, I'm going to wrap it in a div, right? Wrap it in a div. So let me click on here and then put in a div. So a div, check it up, and then put this header inside the div. That is good. All right, so in this div, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a size. So go up into design, change this one, the size to 1440. Make sure the maximum is 100%. You always want to make it 100% because when it comes to responsiveness, you will have to deal with it. So go back into section 5, click section 5, go into layout. This is flex, make it a column. You can center it like that. And yeah, you can leave the rest like that. And inside the row gap, I'm going to make sure it is 120. And that is fine. All right, so when that is done, I'm going to go back into this. And what we have next is text. And for this text, I am going to go back over here. You see, I can duplicate this. I don't have to worry myself. Duplicate that. And then you can click, you see this, the drag. I'm just going to drag it down below here. That is cool. But there are things that I'm doing, especially when we go back into design and then for sizing, we are going to remove this. And then we can leave this, go and remove this one so you don't really hit it. And then we copy everything and paste it here. Right, that is good. But the size that we have here is 48. So let's go back into typography. You can go into primary if you want. And in typography, click here, change this one to 48. And that should be good. That should be good. And then we can just close this, go down, and we have what we want. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is this block text. All right, so this block of text, I'm going to duplicate this and push it. When you click on move down, you're going to move up, something, move down. I'm going to copy this and paste. Sorry. And just paste this. Sorry. That's how we do it. All right. So copy everything and paste it. All right, but the size is not this. So I'm going to click on the size, change this one to 48. All right. When you do 48, make sure that this is not an H2. So I'm going to make it something like H4. And then close this. As you can see, it breaks from user to A. So I'm going to break it over here. And then, what is it? Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. So there's something that I have told you about this. All right. So what we are going to do is, if you want a line break, like you want the next text, the next line of text to go to the next line, don't click on enter. Because when you click on enter, in Gutenberg is going to think that you are trying to create another paragraph. We are not trying to do that. We just want to break the line. So you can click where you want to break it and then hold shift and click enter. So that is good. Hold shift, click enter. So the line breaks to the next line. You don't want a whole new paragraph. Yeah, I wasn't thinking. Definitely not really. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is add an image. So image, that is good. Click on image block and let's set its, what picture is that? I think this. All right, so we have this image. All right, so let's click back on this div, right? And then let's give everything should have at least. So the div is selected. I wouldn't give it an ID or anything like that. We can work on that later. So I'm going to go, okay, we are already here. So let's make it flex column. We can make it center. Oh no, don't make it center. Let's make it aligned to start. All right, and let's make this one justify to the center if you want. But you don't have to do it. And then in the row gap, we can give this one less than 30 pixels. So we have like some space. We can see that here, the space here is a bit bigger. I don't really know why I did that. Probably I just want to separate this from that. But you can leave it as this and it should be fine. All right, the next thing that we want to do is to work on the next block, which is this. All right, so for this block, we are going to add, so let's give this one div A, right? That is good. And then come over here and then give it div A. Now that's a diva, right? That is definitely a diva. All right, so we call that diva or div A, whatever way they want to call it. All right, so diva A, and then we want to add a new diva. So let's type in div, boom. All right, so it came right underneath it, that's what we want. And in here, we have text, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what we are, I'm going to show you another technique. You can see that most of the font colors of the text color is white. Instead of us doing like going back into every text and then changing it into white, what you can also do is in the div itself, in the div that you're using, you can go into in the primary, you can go into color, and the color you can change the text to white. So when you change this to white, every text that you put into that div will become white unless you manually change that color. So we've done that. And the next thing that we want to do is placing our items or our blocks. We call them blocks, so let's use the right name. So we need, it didn't change into white. Oh no, it did. It just went back into that, the div B. So let's paste this. Oh, didn't copy it. So copy that. Paste it. All right, you can see that nothing changed. So what we are going to do next is fix the typography. All right, let's disable G, bring polysans, the size. Oh, I think the size is like this. So yeah, you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to duplicate this, and then probably didn't even have to duplicate. There's another way to do this. You can click on that, right click and copy it, and then I can come into this div and then just click on Control V. Yep, paste that. I'm going to do this. Correct. That is good. So I am going to go back in here, copy what I have, and then over here I'm going to select it, paste it right there. All right. So I don't know if the size changed, but I want to fill the size. Let's go to 76. And then I think the size is correct, but what is left is capitalized like that. And for this thing, go into in here, we can give it what you call it. It is a full div. So what we can do is let's go back into size, and for size we want to make this 100%, so that div covers the entire. And then the div also has color. So in color, background color, let's select what is the background color here. All right, there's the background color. So that is selected, and then we put the background color in there like that. All right, so that should work. We are going to fix what you have with this being in the middle and that stuff. All right, so to do this, I'm going to set this one. All right, you don't worry about it. We'll get that. So we also going to do this separator. We already have a separator here. So I'm going to click on this and then right click, copy, and then go down and click on this header and then just click on Control V. Paste it on it. The next one that we want to copy is this. So let's do Control copy or just copy, click over here, click here, and then just paste it. All right, this has to go down, so it's going to go down. What is wrong? Oh no. Yeah. Go down and go down. Take this. Now, that's it. Go down, and that should work. All right, the next thing that we have is a list or a gallery. So I'm going to click on the green and then type in gallery. Make sure that you choose the right gallery, the one that has the sign on it. So gallery, make sure gallery goes down. And then you're going to add images. So give me just 1, 2, 3. So 3 images, then add a link there. All right, so this is good, but as you can see, we do have an issue here, and the issue is that this is covering the entire line, but it should be sent. One way to fix this is to, instead of using a div, you can go back in here and then use a section. All right, move this up here, and then just move everything into that section. Nicely like that. Because what the section has is it has full width, and it also has you also have the ability to change how it is treated. All right, so in here I'm going to go into all right, you have to move this out of that. All right, that is good. All right, so that section, so we can call that div B, and then we are going to go into design and go into size, and the size we're going to make this 1440 and make sure that this percentage is 100%. All right, but one thing that is unique here is we can give it a background color. We'll go back and click here, change background color into that. So now you can see background color works. If it was a div, it was just going to contain in the 1440, but there's more controls for the section. So there's a place that you have to use section, there's a place that you can use a div. If we were just using a div, we'll have to add another div inside to make this happen. But this is okay. All right, so this works, and yeah, we should be good. It has, what you call it? I think it has space down below like that. I think it's 90 pixel. Right, so that's selected. Let's go into margin and unlock that and put this one up. Not that. Down below, 9 pixel. And then for the top two, you can give it 9 pixel. Then we can make sure that this is not in there. All right, so that should work. We are almost done, right? We are getting there. We have the last section to work on. We have gone through this at 48 minutes. So that should be good. We should be done in a few. So let's work on this. Let's see our progress. You never know. So the next thing that I am going to do is to add our last section of the div. So anyway, you can just click here and then add what they call a section, or you can add a div. Any of them will work here, but a section should work proper. All right, so let's move this into the main section and then call this one testimonial. I hope I spelled that correct. All right, so in testimonial, we are going to go on here and let's add this text over here. All right, so I'm going to click here and then add the text. So that is the text, and the text is still selected. I'm going to go into typography. I can go back into primary if that is good. So typography, I'm going to go into color and make this one white. All right, so that is selected. I'm going to copy this. That's the same thing as what we have at the top. All right, so one thing that I forgot to do over here, go back into the B, give this one some breathing space. So flex, color, not center, leave it at that. Can make it sound right. And yeah, and then in the row, we can give this one 30 pixels. That should be good. Oh, one more thing. You can see that this one has all gallery. We don't want that. Where is that? Setting. How do you move it? Now here you have like row gap and other stuff. If you want to change that, blah blah blah. You can do like move this into it too. If you want, you can do it too, and you can change the height too. You can make this into masonry if you want masonry. If you want to change the text color, so the title, you can put a title on the to put a description. There's image style, pattern, like all the nice stuff that you might need, and then you can have a filter. So this all gallery is a filter. We don't want that. Make it inactive. You want all of that. Okay, that is good. I almost forgot. So I'm going to go back here, and then I am going to copy it, right? No, what happened? Oh, sometimes things happen. All right, so back here, right click, copy it, go back into this section, into that, paste it. All right, I'm going to remove this, delete. All right, that is good. All right, so in here, what I am going to do, the next thing is add image, right? Let's add this image. All right, in this image, select the image, set images. What is, okay, we have that. So you set the image in here. Mostly what I want to do is go back into design. And for design, what we are going to do is go into size, and for the width, we're going to make this 100%. That is good, really, really good. And one more thing that I want to do, we're going to work on this later on. But over here, consider this is centered. If I change this image, should be from the testimonial section. All right, if I change this one and make it go into like layout, yeah, let's do layout, right? Center like that. Make this one into 30 pixels like that. Yep, make sure you click on flex. Make sure, yeah, this can be on this side. All right, so what we are going to do is, if we change this one, the sizer into like 1440, it's going to affect everything. But we really want this one to be through width. So what I am going to do is make sure that I don't do this, but I am going to click on this text, and in primary, we're going to make sure that we go into design, and design we're going to work into sizing, and then we're going to make this one 1440 rather. See, and then in here, make sure the maximum is 100%. Change this into percentage, and that should be fine. So that when it comes to responsiveness, it's still going to work. All right, so that being done, you can see that it's still on the left hand side. We go click back on the testimonial section, go into layout, and make this centered. Now it is centered like that. All right, so the next thing that we want is this thing over here. Okay, so that is a bit of work, because we might need to use either a plugin to pull your Twitter feed if you want that. So there are plugins that you can use to pull your Twitter feed. I didn't use that plugin in here. We can also try and build it out, but it's just going to take a bit of time. So what I am going to do is I'm going to leave that part out, but it is something that you can do. Either use a plugin to feed Twitter feed, or you can build it out. But building it out is just too much work, because there's a bit of work on that. But we are almost done. The next thing that I really want to do is work on making this site responsive. So let's sync this, and then we can do a preview, or we can publish it. You can click on preview and then make it into a preview. All right, so this is a preview. So this is built out from scratch using Gutenberg. So if you haven't tested Gutenberg, you should, and mostly using a toolkit like Cwicly. Look, there's my second, probably this is my third build with Cwicly, and there's my second video with Cwicly, and I'm loving how easy the tool is. For me, the first time that I bought it, it was way too difficult to use. They have changed things around, and the changes that they've done to the controls and other stuff like that, I love it. I'm using it, and it feels like using a normal page builder. But this is Gutenberg. Like everything here can be built out in a normal page builder. But if you want to get yourself into the Gutenberg fray and the hype that Gutenberg has, Cwicly is one of the ways to go. Like literally is one of the best way that you can get into Gutenberg by using Cwicly. All right, so we've done this. Let's try and see how it looks on mobile. I know it's going to be a bit bad, but let's click on this. It's not that bad. It is not the worst thing. It's not. We can fix a few things and it should be clean and it should work. All right. So let's go into this and here we are first going to work on tablet. All right. So in tablet, we're going to click on the message. You can see that the space is pretty huge. So one thing that we're going to do is make sure that this is probably like 40 pixels. And yep, that should be good. Oh, this thing is really bothering. Like for real, it's really bothering. Make the whole thing not working like that. All right, I'm gonna go back over here. I don't know what I did to this. Probably have to bring down the size more. But let's go into typography, right? One more thing I want to do is make this one into like 24 pixel, right? 24 for everything and see how it is going to behave as 24. There's a couple 24. Go here, make this one 24. Go here, make this one to 24. Go here, make this one to 24. Click here and make this one into 24. All right. So that should be that. And let's think that's a dropped. And yep. And then let's go into tablet. For tablet and here and object, so you can really change. So let's make this one like, let's say 18. Click here and make this one 18. Click here, make this one into 18 and see what happens. Nothing is happening. All right, I'm going to go back and change the sizing. I don't know what sizing that I am making that is also this. But let's give this, let's say, 30, right? Make this one also into 20 pixels. Make this one also in 30 pixels, right? Make this into 30. Make this into 30 and make this also into, this only 30. And within the listing, I'm going to make sure that go back here. So I'm making just about to the right, spread in between like this, and click on here. All right, so this works good. One more thing that I might want to do is go here and for everything that is 1440, like for every the div that are 1440, what I'm going to do is go into pattern, and then on the left, give this as a 12 pixels on the left, pattern 12 pixels on the right. Click on here, 12 pixels for the, oh, not everywhere. Click here, 12 pixels, click here, 12 pixels. All right, so click here to, and here, 12 pixels, not everywhere. So I'll lock it, 12 pixels here, 12 pixels here. And yeah, click here to give this one 12 pixels here, and then 12 pixels here. The last one, click on this very one, 12 pixels, not everywhere. Not 12 pixels here, 12 pixels here. All right, yeah, I'm gonna click on this one too. And I'm gonna give it unlock here, 12 pixels for 12 pixels. All right, and let's see it. All right, when you do that, I'm gonna go back on the main section, right? And then for the main section, for the top, I'm gonna give it 90 pixel. For the bottom, 90, oh, for the bottom, not the right. So for the bottom, 90 pixels. See that. Come here and then refresh. All right, so we have something that is coming a bit cleaner than it should be. All right, so let's go back in here And let's go into tablet mode. All right, for tablet mode, these work. All right, so the next section, what is this? What we want to do is go into layout, and we want to change this is already flex, so you can make it flex again, break it down into this direction so that it goes to the bottom, and then we can give it a roll there, like 40 pixels so that there's space there. But when that is done, you are it's not responsive. And then in here, what you want to do is click on the right div, and you also want to give it probably 20 pixel so that it has space in between. And this one should only be for the tablet, because on the main the desktop is spaced in between. All right, so this should be good. This is good. This is good. This is good. All right, now let's go into mobile. Right, mobile, you can see that side is not best. So I'm clicking on this, and I want to go into sizing. Right, instead of 30, we're gonna make it 100%. Right, click here to 20%. Click on the next one. Little 100%. Click here, make this 100%. Click here, make it 100%. Click here, and then also make this 100%. We could have done this in a better way by going into, but I think this is fine. And then we are going to go into the list heading, that div, and then go into layout, click on flex, down like that, and we want to make sure everything is aligned to the right. Yep, but it's not going to work because we have aligned this already. So in here, what I want to do is justify this to the right. Click on the next one, justify to the right. Click on the next one, justify to the right. It's already on right. Click on this one, justify to the right. Click on this one, justify that to the right. And what you can do is go back into the list, and you can give it a row gap of probably 10 pixels like that, and you can save it. All right, so things are looking clean, very clean. All right, so on here, click on the gallery. So for gallery, go into primary, and for primary, go into what are we looking for here? Oh, for here. All right. So here, what we want is, instead of two, we're just gonna do one. So we have one over there. And the size, I'm gonna go back here, and there's the size that we need. The size and the height is 1212. So let's make this 1212, and everything should work nicely. Right, I'm gonna go into tablet mode, and over here too, I want to fix stuff. Here should be here 2, and make this one 1212 and that should be good. All right, and yeah, that is fine. Mobile, well, it's also good. Let's save that, and let's come back here and then refresh. Now we can update mobile, even another thing on mobile. Yeah, it's responsive. It is responsive. So you're able to control the responsiveness that you want. This should definitely be on the right hand side. All right, I'm going to fix whatever this is. All right, so go back here, go into tablet, go into desktop, click on that, go into design, and then from layout, it should be that, but it isn't what it right now, but that is fine. All right, so we have built this out. Probably you might want to see what they call the page speed score, right? I'm going to save this. Now I've published it. I am going to go. All right, so that is good. So publish, and I'm going to open the page itself. So this is the page, and I am going to put it through Google Page Speed so you can see what a page speed is. Google. Let's go into guest mode, right? And then for guest mode, I'm going to paste in the URL like that. How fast is that? All right, that was pretty fast. All right, so on here, I am going to click on F12, and then I'm going to click on this and click on Lighthouse. Let's do for mobile first and analyze it. It is coming up. All right, so with no optimization, pictures, whatever, we are on 86, right? And that should be good. Well, you can add like a bit of optimization, maybe a caching plugin. But this a local machine, so it is not the fastest thing you have. The next thing I'm going to do is a new report, and I'm going to do desktop and click on analyze. All right, so this one came at 99%. All right, that is pretty good. Yep. So this is that. So if you are ever looking to build, like if you're building probably a page for your business or something like that, and you want to go the way of Gutenberg, you can definitely try Gutenberg with Cwicly. It is a great tool. I'm telling you, I've used it and it's pretty nice. I didn't think I would have found something within the Gutenberg blog editors and toolkit that will be as nice as this, and it is so feature rich. I didn't even do the animation that I was talking about, but if I'm going into the animation, I've seen that if I combine Cwicly with Motion Page and build out the animation that I built that I showed you previously, you would have seen that it is even much more powerful. There's already 1 hour, and you don't have to go too much into it. Probably have to make another video just going through how to build the animation that I built out. So that is good. Please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, you can subscribe to OB Studios channel. If you also did love the video, I would really be appreciative if you give us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, I'll be open to answer those questions. You can leave the questions in the comment section, and I'll try my best to give you the best answer as possible. Always, my name is Nako. This is OB Studios. Thank you very much for watching.